The government is spending £150 million to invest in women's jails. They'll be creating 500 new cells which can be used for transgender inmates. There'll be single occupancy, they'll have ensuite loos and showers. Now, in July, a High Court judge ruled that holding transgender women in female jails is lawful because a ban would ignore their right to live as their chosen gender. This is despite cases such as this one. A transgender prisoner, Karen White, 55 years old, sexually assaulted 2 women inmates in 2017 whilst on remand at HMP Newhall in Wakefield. White, who was transitioning, had previously raped 2 other women. They were given a life sentence in 2018. Official figures from the Ministry of Justice show that transgender prisoners are 5 times more likely to carry out sex attacks on inmates at women's jails than other prisoners are. Male prisoners who were transferred to women's jails during gender reassignment and inmates in women's prisons who were transitioning committed 7 of the 124 sex attacks recorded between 2010 and 2018. There are cases in Scotland of trans prisoners who remain physically male being put into female prisons. Women in prisons are vulnerable. Between 23% and 37% of female offenders reported that they had physically or sexually been abused before the age of 18. This is compared to just 6% of male prisoners. Female prisoners self-harm at higher rates than the men. They're more likely to have been domestically abused, and yes, they're more likely to have suffered violence at the hands of men. Personally, I couldn't care less whether or not somebody wants to transition. I'd be perfectly happy if my future child wanted to transition, as long as they weren't rushing into it, and of course, we had a proper chat about the whole thing. So this isn't some anti-trans rant. This is about common sense, or a lack thereof. If you put a male convicted sex offender in a women's prison, women are going to get raped and sexually assaulted. Fact. If you're a sex offender, apparently now you can just say that you're transitioning and bingo, there you are, you're in a women's jail. It's the total suspension of logic and common sense, taken to a dangerous extent. We're doing this, apparently, to uphold the human rights of these transgender inmates. What about the human rights of everyone around them? Single-sex spaces were a hard-fought victory, from refuges to prisons. Women, basically being vulnerable, of course, very vulnerable women indeed, needed to be protected. And they finally got a safe space, as it were. And catapulting a sex offender into a confirmed space with vulnerable women just won't end well. This is a woke ideology, and it's dangerous. You can't speak out about it because then you're a transphobe, apparently. Well, if wanting female inmates to be raped, if not wanting female inmates to be raped by a convicted sex offender masquerading as a woman makes you a transphobe, then so be it.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.